Hello out there. So this is Walter again. Well, since you probably found this from either my Goodreads page or my personal blog, well, you probably already knew that. Oh well. I didn't say I was the smartest person. Anyway, this is a kind of an update on what's going on. It's a little discouraging right now, only because when you've worked on something for so long, and then you realize, well, you need to redo it a little bit more, it's just discouraging. So I am working on rewriting Migration Beginnings again. It is a big undertaking, but seeing as how the critical feedback that I got was very, very valid. It's what I needed before I published a book, but I am not always one to do something in order. So it happened. I wrote the book, had it, some people read it, and got some feedbacks, changed some things, minor rewrite of this, that, and the other. Big thing that people actually don't know, one of the characters actually started out as a male and ended up as a female. Not through, anything in the story. It should be transparent to everyone, but Lieutenant Franks actually started out as a male, and I turned the character female because I wanted to balance. Or as my friend Sensa says, do you realize you only have one other woman in the book that has any type of big part? And that's me as a male writer not knowing what I'm doing. But the other effect of not knowing what I'm doing is going through and writing, changing, publishing, as opposed to writing, getting critical feedback, then changing and publishing. So this is something that you're not going to hear from most people, but don't buy my book right now. And if you do, buy the Kindle version or buy the version off of iTunes or off of Smashwords. Because if you get it, just don't read it yet. Because the rewrite is coming. I'm actually planned on finishing it by the end of April. I'm pretty much on track to do that. I originally wrote the very first 85,000 word draft of this book in, I want to say 35, 40 days. It was during July Camp Nano Rimo. So I think I can edit it in that same time period. And there's our best friend. Sorry, I can't turn that off, but whatever. Anyway, so don't buy the book right now. If you do, don't read it right now. It is coming. And what I'm going to be doing after that is I've got basically the sequel, which we talked about last time. The paperwork, it's all sitting right there still. So I'm going to be working on that. I also want to write a little 10,000 word little kind of a prequel to the entire series, and it's not really going to have any of the action adventure type aspect that the Migration Beginnings has, or like Migration Knowledge will have. It's just going to be like more of an introduction to the characters for people. And then of course I'm writing the sequel. I have the third book just kind of turning around in my head, and as I'm doing all this, I'm reading as much as I can, and I'm listening to audiobooks. I don't really listen to audiobooks of anything other than nonfiction. So I'm sitting here listening to Stephen King's How I Write, and it's interesting some of the stuff that comes out of that man's mouth, especially when you hear the origins of like his book Carrie or his book Misery. Those are how they came about, was just kind of stunning. So I know I'm rambling. So anyway, long story short, yes, I'm still writing. A little discouraged, but I'll get there. It'll be all right. But just wish me luck. I'm gonna push on. I'm going to get the book written. I want to write the sequel. I want to write the third. I want to write the little prequel. And I've probably got one or two other books that I want to write, just to get them out of my head. One of them I know is not going to be written for quite a few years, and that's I need to get my writing craft down to an art to where it's perfect. And there's another text message. This time on my phone. I mean, watch. Yeah, this is my phone. It's Friday afternoon. I don't have to think anymore. So anyway, thank you for listening and paying attention and everything, and thanks for being out there. And if you ever have any questions about anything, writing or anything, I know I'm, like one of the least prolific and most overlooked writers out there, and that's fine. But if you do have questions, by all means, let me know, and I'll answer them. Thanks.